All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, welcome on in NorCal Sports Network. Tuesday night, January 27th, 2026. And you're listening to NorCal Sports Network, home of Giants baseball, past, present, and truth. Been following these Giants since 1968. That's right, I'm old. 1968, been following this team before the World Series championships, wild card, and hot takes. You're listening to NorCal Sports Network, honest Giants analysis, real baseball perspective, and straight talk without spin. If that's what you're looking for, you're definitely in the right place. All right, welcome, Dallas, to the show. Let us.
It's much better than that dishonest Giants talk.
Absolutely. We can't have any of that.
No.
That's for sure.
Got to be honest.
That's for sure. Let's pull up our sponsor here and talk about our sponsor. Let me pull that up here. Got to get the right logo there. There we go. Prize Picks. There we go. We love Prize Picks here at NorCal Sports Network. That's a lot of fun to go do Prize Picks. And you ask, what is Prize Picks? Well, I will pull this up because I had my read here and everything got screwed up here. So that's probably why, because I'm not in my proper space. I can't find it. So that's good. Here we go. Prize Pick. Use that promo code on the screen, NCSN, down there at the bottom corner. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you build lineups by choosing whether players will have more or less than a projected stat total. Right now, new users get $50 in lineups when they play their first $5 lineup, win or lose. That's right, $50. Get credit. Add that NCSN promo code, and you get $50. You don't have to play $50 to get a $50 match. You just got to play 5. So go to Prize Picks right now and sign up. Prize Picks available in 45 states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today. Build your lineup and follow along while watching the games. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And I can tell you this, guys, Prize Picks is a lot of fun. Just pick more or less. That's all you got to do. Pick that more or less. Hey, Steph Curry, more than 24 points? Sure, more. Go more. That's right. Go more on the picks, on the Prize Picks, everybody. Also, we want to thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Hey, make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. Don't settle with an insurance company before giving Chapman Law Group a call at 415-613-9483. Let them know. Let David Chapman and his group know that NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, guys, tonight's... Ooh, what do we got there? What was that?
Glad that was a Law and Order thing.
Oh, okay. Glad I didn't put that apple right there in my mouth. Would have gagged on it. All right. Well, how was your day today, Dallas?
Pretty good day. Yeah, kind of a normal Tuesday getting through the week here.
Yeah, Tuesday. We got the dog there laying on her pillow.
Yep, the dogs spend a lot of time laying in here.
Yeah.
But now they've had their dinner and they're ready to start relaxing for the evening.
That's right. That's right. Buster eats at 5 o'clock, and he lets us know at 3 o'clock every day that it's about time. We say, nope, you got a couple of hours, and then he keeps following us around. And
about 4:30, the dogs here get really annoying. They start coming up and putting his head on me, and then if I'm downstairs, usually I let them out, to do their business and then feed them when they come back in. So they think that going outside will start the process. So we have a bell down there, and they go down and ring the bell to get outside. Ring the bell, and then they just go and stand outside the door because they don't actually have to go to the bathroom. They just want to go outside so they can come back inside to eat. So
there you go.
There's a lot of bell ringing that they think is going to initiate the feeding process.
Somebody said, what happened to Lou? I talked to Lou today, actually, because I'm actually Lou's. If you guys don't know, I do financial planning for a living. So Lou's one of my clients. Lou's a friend of mine. He's just, he took a bigger contract that we couldn't offer him over at Giants.
We hit the cap over here.
Yeah, we hit
CBT.
The cap. We're capped out. When I brought Dallas on, and we capped out. Dallas demanded a bigger salary, and I went to the owners, which is me, I guess, and Mrs. Coachimilio said we can't pay all those salaries out.
And you discussed deferring it over the next 10 years. And
we did discuss a 10-year deferral. Yep. So we'll figure it out, though. But yes, they had a fight. You guys that speculate, it's like, oh, I get it. Give me a break. You guys got to find a life, man. Like I said, I talked to Lou today. All's good. All's good. Lou can come on the channel anytime, but he's having a good time over at another channel, which is fine. Giant Sports Talk Live. No big deal. They're really, we don't. I went
over there last night. I got to listen to him over there.
Yeah. We don't listen. We don't look at it as anybody is really competition. There's plenty of space in the YouTube space. If I know Glenn likes to think it's competition, but it's really not. It's really not. I think our shows are completely different. So tonight we've got an interesting show for you guys. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about the ceiling, the floor versus the ceiling. If you saw I'm sure you saw the thumbnail. We're going to talk about, I got this idea thinking, I've been watching a lot of stuff and I've seen a lot of stuff on Harrison Bader. I saw a nice interview with him on another channel today. I sent that out to a few people. Harrison Bader, I always liked him when he was with the Cardinals. Hasn't really been an everyday player, but he's a scrappy player. I love his defensive game. And I think, he's going to bring some energy to the team with Tony Vitello as the manager. I think we might be in for a little bit of a possible surprise this year. I've been saying 80 games, and I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see where this goes tonight's show. So we're going to start it off with Patrick Bailey behind the dish. And then we'll go around the diamond, okay? We'll go around the diamond, and then we'll come back to the starting pitchers and the bullpen guys. So we're going to just kind of give you a guess, hey, this is what sports is all about, right? I mean, if sports was rocket science, or I shouldn't say if it was rocket science, if it was an exact science, look, we would know exactly what's going to happen, but we don't. So we're going to take our best effort, and some people will agree, some people will disagree, and that's fine. That's what sports is. This isn't life or death, right? I mean, this isn't that big of a deal, right? I mean, I don't get worked up. Look, a lot of you guys are, I don't know if it's just because I'm 64 now, Dallas, and I'm starting to grow up, but I look at some people that put their lives into sports and they just lose it. They lose their ass. Like when their team loses, I see things on Twitter where people throw things at TVs during football games. Their team loses a game and they break. And I don't know if it's staged for clicks or.
Yeah, probably some of it is. Some of it's probably real. Some people do get really emotional about it. But maybe that's the highs and lows. You're really pissed off and mad when they lose, but then you're ecstatic and happy when they win. So maybe it's just maybe you, Dan, who don't get too down when they're losing. Maybe the win isn't as sweet for you.
Yeah,
because you're not as invested.
It's probably not as much that big of a deal, you know. My life is my family. That's it, you know. My life is my family, my faith in Christ, and you know, I don't get worked up over all this. Like, I don't understand people flipping out over, you know, the Warriors or the 49ers. You know, people like come on a show after the 49ers and they just rip the team and they're so upset. And it's like, you know what? If you can look at games objectively, you can actually look at these games and go, like the Seattle game, for example, right? I mean, I heard a lot of people say, oh, the Niners are going to take Seattle. I'm like, they're going to get killed. I didn't think they were going to get killed by 41-6. I thought they'd lose by 10 points.
Right.
You know, to me, that's.
I did too. Yeah.
Killed. That's kind of.
I mean, they got killed 2 weeks earlier. And
yeah.
I mean, it was a closer score, but they really weren't in the game.
Yeah.
And I thought they would put it together a better effort, and it just didn't happen. And, you know, the chickens came home to roost. The team was banged up and injured, and even if they were at full strength, they probably didn't have enough. So they got to go back to the drawing board and improve the team and go back for next year. And that's what the Giants are doing right now. They're trying to back to the drawing board, improve the team for next year within a budget, basically, is what it comes down to. So, like it or not, that's the reality of the situation.
Now, I do understand. Yeah, I can relate to this, JB. When Farhan was on here, we were first starting out the show in 2023, and we started NorCal Sports Network March of 23. I used to go crazy. I was totally getting fed up with Farhan. And then I came, you know, hey, look, I'll just be blunt. I was huge, wanting the Giants to improve, but I got to look at the inside of the Giants organization too. You know, as I saw the insides of the organization and met some of the people up at the top, you know, frankly, I was a little disappointed in the way, you know, I was a season ticket holder and I met Larry Baer and I thought he was kind of, you know, he didn't even want to talk to me until I told him I was a season ticket holder. Oh, and he goes, hello, how are you? You know, and I'm just like, it's just like, you didn't want to give me a time of day. I was in the press box, and then he wanted to talk to me and talk me into, you know, I mean, I understand his deal. Look, I don't have anything personally against Larry Baer or anything, but, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just think that these guys are just, Heroku, no doubt. Like I said, I think a lot of it is just aging and just realizing is, you know, look, I'm starting the fourth quarter. Maybe I'm at the 2-minute warning. I don't know, but you know, I'm in the fourth quarter probably of life. You know, I'll be 65 this year, so
it's okay, Dan. It's going to overtime.
Let's hope so. But I was a crazy Giants fan in the 80s and 90s, especially if you met me in the mid 70s. I mean, I was like, it was my life. Yeah. Mark Graves. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I'm just saying, I don't get that worked up, but you know, I think I can give you a really good analysis from without a bias. You know, our slogan here at NorCal Sports Network is no homers, just truth. I can give you guys a sneak preview of our new logo coming up. Look at this, Dallas. How do you like that?
I like it. No homers, just truth.
Look at the baseball, the stitching. See it?
Yep.
Yeah. Colors are different. Yeah, we're working on that. Dominic Peralta, my guy, is putting it together. He's the brains behind it. So make sure I know the overtime rules. That's right. Don't take the ball first. Kyle, don't take the ball first, Kyle. Don't give Patrick Mahomes a shot to take it down the field and beat you. All right, let's get into this. Let's start with the catcher. I'll take one, and then you'll take one, and then I'll go next. So I'll start off with Patrick Bailey. All right, here's where I think Patrick Bailey is starting to improve as a hitter. If you look at Patrick Bailey over the course of his career, when he was at North Carolina State, he batted .321, and then that was in 2018. In 2019, he hit .288, and then in 2020, he hit .296. So he pretty much, and then he had some summer ball there where he only hit .235, but he only had 17 at bats, so you can't even. But those were roughly .285, .290 hitter. And then in 21, he went to Eugene where he batted only .185, but he had 155 plate appearances. Prior to that, he was in San Jose. He hit .322 and 207 plate appearances. Then back up to Eugene for a second stint in 2022. He hit .225. He really has learned to hit in the majors. He only had, in between AA and AAA, he only had 120 plate appearances as a 24-year-old. Okay. So now he is going to be 27 this year. As he turned 27, he turns 27 in May. Okay. The end of May. So Patrick Bailey, I think, is going to have a little bit more production, not a ton, but if you look at his big league career, Patrick Bailey has, let me pull back here. I think he's averaging right around 233 is batting average. Okay, his batting average for Bailey in his first year was 233 with the Giants in 23, and then the next year was 234. Now last year it was 222. It's kind of interesting because he has always started pretty decent in that first half and then just collapsed in the second. Last year he was a little different.
He was the opposite last year.
Yeah, he was the opposite.
So I was looking at that too, because in his career, throughout his whole career, even including last year, his first half he's hitting 255, and his second half he's hitting 202. So that's a big drop off. But that's including last year, where in the first half he hit 203, and the second half he hit 246. So it was exactly reverse last year. That tells you before that how lopsided it was, his first to second half. So now he switched it, and now the first half was off to a slow start, and the second half was better. Right. So the question is, can he figure it out and be able to put two consistent halves of a season together? That's really the question for him.
I think he's going to be a little bit more consistent this year. I really do. I think the hunting coach, Hunter Mentz, the hitting coach, is going to have a positive effect on him. I think the Giants may get him a little bit more rest at times, and just strategically, he caught a lot of games last year where he was doing back-to-back.
They didn't have a choice because their backup catcher was not very good. So and
he played
this year
135 games last year.
Susak is going to be the backup, I'm assuming.
I would think it's Susak over Rodriguez. I would think so.
I mean, it's going to come down to who has a hot spring, but hopefully that whoever's in that backup role can have enough production to where it's okay to sit Bailey, a game or two a week.
Right.
Because at the end of the year last year, they could not rest him at all because they couldn't risk not having him out there. And
remember, Susak is a Rule 5 player, so he's going to have to be up on the big league club all season.
Right.
So he has the inside track. It's not set in stone. If he stinks in spring training, I don't think they're going to be forcing him to play because they traded
for
him.
You just have him back.
Yeah. So here's my projections on Bailey for the 2026 season. I think Bailey hits 237 for the season. Okay, that'll be his high for the year. I mean, for his career. He's like I said, the first couple years, 233, 234. Last year, 222. I think he gets a little more consistent. Hits about 237. And last year he had the high of RBIs of 55. I think he's going to get maybe 57 RBIs this year, right around there. An OPS plus, he's averaging 78. I think he pushes that up to about 85 this year. And
so you're thinking he hits a couple more home runs than the 6?
Yeah, I think last year he hit 6. I think he hits maybe 9 this year. Okay.
Okay. So a moderate improvement.
Just a little bit of a moderate improvement.
Bit of an improvement. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my take on Bailey. What do you got?
I agree with you. I mean, I think he'll hit 10 home runs this year. I think he has kind of that sneaky power where he does. There's a little bit more pop than he showed last year. But I had him at bringing his average up to 240. What did you say? 237.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, half the year he's hitting 255 and half the year he's hitting 205. I think he could bring that 205 up, so his worst is going to be, in the 215, 220 range, which would bring him up to, 240 for the season. 240 would be good. I think RBIs is a lot of who's getting on in front of him. And I think, so that could tick up a few. I think 58 is pretty good, like you said, hitting in the bottom of the rotation like that. And his defense will be the same. It'll be consistent. So I don't see any drop off there. Even with the challenge system, it's not going to make a difference. It's just you only get a couple challenges, and you're not going to want to waste them to the late innings. So I'm not really worried about that.
Okay. All right. Now the big one is Rafael Devers at first base. His numbers with the Giants last year were very underwhelming. He did hit 20 homers in 90 games, but he only hit 236. And but go ahead, give me, with the Giants. Yeah, I mean overall was pretty good, but give me your numbers, and then I'll follow up with my numbers.
I think it will return back to his kind of career average. So okay. I think he'll be up to like 255 on his batting average. I mean, his overall home run production is going to be lower because he'll be hitting a whole season at Oracle. And I don't think he's going to make it to 40. I think he's going to go 39 home runs next year. He'll be trying to get to 40, but it probably won't happen. And then, you'll see that, RBI total at, 105, 110, somewhere in there. And so he'll have a better season than he had with the Giants, but it will be more returning to form to his career average.
Okay.
And you'll probably see his WAR tick up a little too, because he'll be playing a defensive position, and I think he's going to play a solid first base this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a pretty good third baseman in his prime, and playing first base is going to be easier for him. So once he's more comfortable over there, I see him doing well.
Okay.
So that's what I have for Devers.
All right. My take on Devers is it's all contingent on how the back does. If the back stays healthy, which is critical for his success, I'm going to say that, Rafael Devers has a lifetime batting average of 276. I'm going to say it's a little lower than that this year. I'm going to say it, he hit 236 as a Giant. I think he was hurting. I think that number comes up to, I'm going to say a 268 batting average for Rafael Devers for this year. 265, 268. I think the home runs are going to be a little bit down in that. I don't think he's going to be near 40. He will top 30. I'm going to say Devers goes for 33 home runs. I think the numbers pick up in terms of some more doubles this year. His OPS was 130, OPS plus, I should say, 130 with the Giants. I think he's going to be right around 135 Rafael Devers, 135, 140. I think his slugging is going to be closer to, 480 to 500 slugging percentage. I think he's going to get a little bit more hits, maybe a little more doubles. RBIs, I think he probably comes in with, I'll say he's going to be the big RBI guy. I think he's going to do about 112 next year. Okay. So that's my take on Devers.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe not his career best or anything like that, but certainly an improvement over what he was with the Giants last year.
I think he'll be a little less than what he was with Boston. I think, the park will play a factor, but I think he's going to bring up his average. He's still going to drive in runs. I think he's going to cut down on his strikeouts too. I think the strikeouts were contributing with the back. So I think he's going to be the big run producer. So
I like it. All right. So now do you go next?
Take Casey Schmidt at second. Now this could change. We don't know. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. They've been talking about Donovan or Horner, and then they went after C.J. Abrams. It seems like they want to get a second baseman like crazy, and I would just caution them to, unless it's a real difference maker, I don't see, the need right now. I think Casey is going to come back and have a breakout year. I really do. And when I mean breakout, I'm not talking, for him, it'll be a breakout year. So here's where I have Casey projected. And this is assuming he gets enough at bats and he's not obviously being platooned, or in a worst case, he's not even on the team. But I'm going to say that Casey is going to hit. Let me pull up where I had my notes here. What did I do with them? Okay, here we go. I'm going to project a batting average for Casey Schmidt of about 247. Okay, 247. I'm projecting 19 to 21 home runs, right in that range. And I think he drives in about 70 runs. Okay.
I had 19 home runs, 70 RBIs.
Okay. That's funny. So Dallas and I have not discussed this. We just discussed, hey, you do your work, I'll do mine. So that's where I got him. 247, 70 RBIs. I think he has an OPS plus range of, maybe 104, 105, right in there, just above league average.
I have his average at 255. I think, okay. 240 is Chapman. I think he hits for a better average than Chapman if he's playing every day. So I have his average up a little bit, but I agree on the other stats.
Okay. All right. So, you are next up at shortstop with Willy Adames.
All right. So with Adames, he hit 225. I have him up to 235, 10 points more.
Mm-hmm.
He made 30 home runs last year. He's not going to make it this year. He's going to be at 28.
Okay.
But still a pretty good season. I think his RBIs are about the same, 87. I have him at 85. And so I think it's going to be a pretty similar year to last year, maybe a little bit of a minor drop off, but it'll be fine.
Okay. Well, I've got Willie hitting, he hit 225, as you said last year. You said 235 you got him at?
Yeah.
For next year?
Dan, okay. I got to take a call. I'll be right back.
No worries.
You
worries.
can do
check. Okay. All right. So I am going to move Willy Adames. I think he's a career 244 hitter. His best years were in 2018 at 278, and then he hit 285 in 2021. It was his first year with Milwaukee from the trade. that he came in. I think Willy's going to be a little more relaxed this year. He's not going to be pressing as much coming off that contract signing and a whole new environment and trying to learn a whole new everything, So I think Willy will hit probably in the 235 to 237, 238 range. I'm in agreement with Dallas. I don't think he gets 30 homers. I think he gets about 27 home runs next year. But here's where I think Willy does some a little bit more. Well, I don't know if you want to call it damage or whatever, but I'm going to say Willy gets 89 RBIs. How's that? 89 RBIs, hits about, has an OPS plus in the 110 to 115 range, above average. So I'm gonna say Willy has a little bit better year. So that's what I got for Willy. And then Dallas will be coming back here. I'll just remove this from the stage there, and then he'll be back. All right, now the guy that is probably the hardest one to project on the team for me, because Matt Chapman has had one big year in his career, and it was the juice ball year, 2019 season. Okay. And, Chappie, I think he comes back a little healthier this year, just because he had some hand injuries he was dealing with all last year. But his lifetime batting average is 240. Okay. Last year he was down 231. I think Chappie gets closer to that 240 batting average. I think he'll have another good OPS plus right around that 120 range for him. I think Chappie has maybe Chapman, gosh, he's never had 80 RBIs, over 80 RBIs except once in the 2019 season. When he hit 90, he had 91 RBIs that year. He hit 37 home runs. So I'm going to say Chapman is kind of back to his average, 240. Maybe even if he cuts down on the strikeouts, Chapman might be in the mid 240s, 243, 245 if he cuts down on the strikeouts. I think his home run production is going to be right around 25. He did 27 his first year. I think those numbers are going to start to decline a little bit, but 25 still productive. And you know what? I'm going to be a positive tonight, and I'm going to say Chapman gets right on the nose at 80 RBIs for the second time in his career. And I think it'll be the last time he gets to 80 RBIs. So I'm going to give Chapman, I think he's determined to come back, have a better year. He's going to have a little bit more support in the lineup. So 80 RBIs, 25 home runs, about a 120 OPS plus, and he'll have a good positive WAR, and if he stays healthy, should have a productive season. Okay. OPS, for his OPS, he'll probably be right around the 790 mark. Okay. Right in that range, just under 800. And Dallas is back just in time.
Who were you just talking about there?
Just finished off Chapman.
Okay. Chapman, I mean, if he's anything, he's consistent. I mean, he hits about 240 every year. He hit about 231 last year, was a little bit down, but
right.
So I think, and he only had 61 RBI last year. I just can't imagine it can be that low another year in a row. Like, I think it's going to be, 68, 69, hopefully.
Okay. I gave him I was generous tonight. I said, he's going to be, for the second time in his career, he's going to reach the 80 RBI mark. He's going to land right at 80.
Wow. I'll take it right now.
I'm just being a little optimistic. I'm thinking, you got Devers, you got now you got Bader in there. He's not a great hitter, but the lineup's a little longer. It's if Adames can be himself a little bit, Chapman can get back a little bit going. A lot of it's going to be what Eldridge does, if he stays up or not. So we'll see. But I had Chappie about. I think I gave him maybe a 245 batting average. Did I say 240, 245? I can't remember. I think it was right around there. I think he bumps it up a little lower on the home runs though, 25.
25. Okay. I have a 25 also. I have him hitting 240, 25 home runs.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
68 RBIs, and you have an 80. So if that's the case, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And then Ramos, you want to go to him next?
Yeah, let's go to Ramos in left field. Yeah.
All right. I think he takes a step forward this year. I have him going 9 points on the batting average up to 265. He had 21 home runs last year. I think he's going to hit 25 this year. So the RBIs will go up to 75. And defensively, and I know this is all optimism, right? I'm not saying he's going to break any records or anything like that, but I think he will take a step forward with his defense. I don't think his defense can be worse than it was last year. And in the past, he actually, played some center field, and he actually looked pretty good out there in stretches. Yeah. And I think maybe, there's some mental issues, mental insecurity with the position, overthinking things that came into play last year. And if he can overcome that and just keep putting in the work, then you're going to see an improvement on his defense. So I think he takes a step forward, not a huge leap forward, but I think he has a better year this season than last season.
You want to project WAR? I forgot to do WAR. Devers, I'm going to give Devers a 3 WAR this year because he's going to play some more defense. He was at 1.9 last year.
Only with the Giants. His overall WAR was 4.1 last year.
Oh, that's right. It was 4.1. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to give Devers like a 4 WAR. Yeah. And then Chapman, I forgot to give his WAR. I think he gets at least a 4 as well.
He was at 4.1 last year. I think it's going to be. I put him down to 3.8 just because I think he did a pretty good. But yeah, it could be probably 4. He's pretty consistent. Yeah. And then Ramos, I have going from 1.2 up to 2.2 because his defense is going to improve.
All right.
The only reason he was at 1.2, I think, was his defense was so bad.
Yeah. Well, again, it's all about optimism. I've got Ramos hitting 385 next year with 150 RBIs. 39 bombs. I got him winning the Triple Crown. I got his WAR.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That would be great if Ramos shows up and he's Barry Bonds.
Yeah. Now, I think Elliott has a bounce back year. I know I've talked to the kid. I love the kid. He's got a great attitude. He wants it. And he's willing to put in the work. I think he was a little bit embarrassed by his performance defensively last year. I think Elliott comes out this year, and I think he hits. Let's say Elliott hits 260. All right, 260. 260. He reaches 25 homers for the first time. He reaches 25 homers. He has a good OPS plus of 110 plus. And Elliott is going to drive in 75 to 85 runs this year. That's quite a range. So I'll just say, how about 81? 81 runs batted in. Now, why am I going higher on all these guys? Because I think the nucleus together is going to have a more positive vibe. I think playing for a manager that doesn't communicate very well, like Bob Melvin, has a damper on a lot of guys. And I think when they get the funk, everybody just presses and there's no, I just think guys are going to be a little looser this year. I think guys are hungrier. And I don't think anything's expected of this team a whole lot. Personally, I don't think a lot's expected, and nothing was expected of the 21 team. And, they came out of nowhere. I'm not saying the Giants are going to be anything close to that, but I think as I look at things from a perspective of what they're doing, I think they're making incremental steps that are going in the right direction for this year.
So 106 wins. Got it.
Yeah, 106, not 107, just under. They'll push. Yeah. So Ramos, there's my numbers. Now you got to go to Bader. So you're up.
Bader had a career year last year. Now he's coming to San Francisco, Oracle Park.
Yeah.
No way he repeats what he did last year.
Nope.
So just forget about that.
Yep.
But I have him at from 277 down to 250 this year. He hit 17 home runs last year. I think he's going to hit about 10 this year. I don't think he's going to have, be hit for a lot of power. He's not in Philadelphia or Milwaukee anymore. But I think his RBIs, it was 54. I think it stays right about there, 50, somewhere in there. He'll probably be hitting, I don't know. I mean, traditionally hit sixth, which means there's probably going to be some guys on base for him to knock in.
I think he'll be a little lower in the Giants lineup, seventh, eighth, seventh.
Possibly, yeah. Depending on where they want to put Chapman. So he had a 3.9 WAR last year. I have it dropping down to 2.5, but I think it still should be a solid year. It's just not going to be the massive year he had last year.
Yeah. All right, good call. I mean, he had a good OPS plus last year of 117, which was, and his OPS with Philadelphia was surprisingly 824. 796 for both teams for the full year with Minnesota and Philly. So last year he hit 277 combined. He hit 305 with the Phillies. I do think he may be starting to find himself as a more experienced player and figuring things out more. I think he's again hungry to keep going. He's going to be 32 years old. I think he turns 32 in June. Yeah, 32 in June. He kind of seems young to me. He plays young. He plays with a really nice approach to the game. But I got him hitting like 251, 252 right in there. Where were you at? 250-ish?
250. Okay.
So home runs, I do think he hits more than 10. I'm going to say 12 or 13 home runs for Bader. I think he maybe steals 10 or 12 bags for the Giants. I think he plays a solid defense. His WAR last year was 3.9. I'll say 3.4. Maybe 3.2 to 3.4. I think, solid year, 250-ish. I think as far as driving in runs for Bader, he's not a big RBI guy. He had 54 last year. I'll say he does about 47 RBIs this year for the Giants.
Okay. And then what about Jung Hoo?
Jung Hoo Lee. All right. Jung Hope Lee, as we call him here. Jung Hope. We need some hope for Jung.
Is there hope?
Is there hope for Jung Hoo Lee? Okay. So Jung Hoo Lee, he is going to have to figure it out this year. He had a WAR of 1.7 last year. He did hit 266. He hit 262 early on. I think Jung Hoo figures a little bit more out. I think the hitting coaches help him out. I'm going to say Jung Hoo hits 275 this year.
That's what I have also, right on the
Giants.
button.
Yeah. I think last year he hit 8 homers. I'm going to say the home runs are more like 6 or 7.
I have 7.
Okay.
I actually hope he hits less home runs.
Yeah.
I don't want him trying to hit home runs.
Yeah,
I want him trying to put the ball in play.
Right.
So if his average goes up and his home runs go down, I'm happy.
Yeah. He had 55 RBIs last year. I think Jung Hoo gets to 60 this year. 60 RBIs, a little bit more on base, a little bit more.
I had 58, so we're right in the ballpark.
OPS plus last year of 110. I think he's right in that 110 to 115 range this year. I think he had 31 doubles last year. I'm going to say Jung Hoo pushes 40 doubles this year.
I love it. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. So what do we got in the chat going? Okay. Aaron says, Senior, share what you're smoking. What is Senior saying in the chat here? I'm expecting Roger. Heroku
says the A's are making the playoffs.
Oh, okay. And what are you smoking, Senior? No, they could. Hey, you never know. I hope they do.
That'd be great.
I like what Heroku says. I'm expecting Roger Craig type play this year, underachievers. Yeah, I do think Tony's going to give him that attitude, that mindset that no one's expecting anything. I think this team is slightly going to overachieve. I was first kind of leaning toward an 80-win team. I like the Bader move because it gives them a legitimate center fielder defensively. Okay? Defensively.
I also like that it improves your right field defense.
Yes, it moves Jung Hoo over to right, who's got a pretty good arm. He's got one of the better arms in the National League. He's in the top 10%, I believe, for outfielders. I think he ranks he's got a 90 ranking or whatever they call it. But I think Jung Hoo will feel fine over there. I'm glad Bader's in camp, so to speak. Now, not a week into spring training, so that him and Lee can work together and communicate. Whose outfield it is. That this outfield is. Bader's the captain, I heard Harrison Bader today talking about the park and how big it is. And he says, he loves that. He says, that's more room to run down fly balls. That's what this guy loves to do. So
he's going to be an interesting personality on the team. I think he's going to bring a lot as far as attitude. And I think he might be one of those players that other teams don't like very much, which is kind of what the Giants were going to be going for this year.
Eddie wants to know, we're getting right to the pitching. Would I sign Framber Valdez? I would only sign him if it was a short-term deal, like 3 years with no opt-out after the first year, because I'm not allowing him to do a opt-out, and then we got to pay, we lose a draft pick and international money for 1 year. Not playing that game. If he wants an opt-out after year 2, maybe I consider that. If Framber wants a 5-year deal, forget it. I don't think Buster you guys got to remember one thing. I've heard people talk about this with, well, that's the past. Get over it. You sign guys. Look, Buster Posey was on the team when Zito was signed to that big deal. He wasn't on it in the beginning. Zito, Buster came up and Zito was in the middle of that horrible contract that didn't work out. Then you got Samardzija in Cueto in 2016, both to a 5 and a 6-year deals. Remember, Buster was there. It did not work out, and I don't think he wants to go that route. I really don't. Would it help the team this year? Yeah, it would. But I don't think they want to give up international pool money and draft picks at this stage. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised for them to sign, if the numbers came down for Lucas Giolito for like a 1-year deal for like $12 million, maybe even $14 million. I could see them going that route. Maybe a Chris Bassett, same type of thing. Look, I don't think they're signing anybody. The only way they get Framber, in my opinion, if the numbers if he doesn't have the big time offers anywhere.
Yeah, and that could be the case.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about pitching next, Dan? I got to take one more break here.
Yep, we're going to go into pitching. So I am going to start it off. I will go with the staff ace, Logan Webb. So Logan Webb, he's pitched 200 innings for the last 3 consecutive seasons. In 22, he missed it by 7 2/3 of an inning. So this guy has thrown over 800 innings in the last 4 years. He doesn't have a lot of mileage on him because really his first big full season was the 21 season, the magical season, right? Where he had a 3.03 ERA, went 11-3. But Webb last year went 207 innings, had a WAR of 3.8. I think Webb is maturing, and he's becoming more and more of a leader on the team. I think he realizes that he is the staff ace. He got a lot of learning a lot of things from the veteran Justin Verlander last year. I think Webb does another 200 innings. I think he has a good, solid strikeout rate again this year. Last year he had the most strikeouts of his career. He had 224 innings. He had a 9.1 or 9.7, I'm sorry, strikeout K rate, strikeout to 9 rate. Webb went 15-11 last year. I think with a little, the problem with the Giants is where the struggle is the bullpen. Is this a premiere? No, it's live. Is it live or Memorex? It's live. So, yeah, I'm going to go Logan Webb having a pretty good season again. It's hard to project wins and losses. It really is, because you just don't know what's going to happen with the support these guys get. But let's say Webb gets let's say he wins 17. He goes 17-10 this year. How's that? 17-10. Has an ERA in the low to mid 3s, like 3.3, right in there. He'll start 33 or 34 games, and I think he'll have a good WAR of over 4. That's what I got for Logan Webb. And then we'll go next to Robbie Ray. Now, Robbie Ray is entering his final year of his contract. A lot of times, guys, Robbie Ray is 34 years old. He doesn't turn 35 until October 1st, so right as the season ends. He's going to be a little stronger this year. Last year, he kind of faded because he went from, you got to look at his innings pitched. In 2023, he pitched 3 innings, 3 1/3. Then he had Tommy John, right out of the gate. 2024, he only pitched 30 innings. Last year, he went all the way up to 182. I think that was a little detrimental to him. I kind of wish the Giants would have paced him and held him back at about 150 just to build him up. But he's built up now. I say Robbie Ray has a pretty good year. He had a 2.8 WAR last year. I think he doesn't fade as much the second half. I think they'll watch those innings pitched. I think Ray, again, I was saying, hard to predict wins and losses,
I didn't bother predicting it.
Yeah. I'm going to say Robbie Ray has an ERA in the mid 3s, 3.5 to 3.7 range. I'll say he pitches about 175 innings, and, he has a productive season. I think overall, it's he'll have an ERA plus. His high of the year he won the Cy Young was 157. Last year, to give you an example, was 109. He had a 163 in 2017 with Arizona. I'm going to say Robbie Ray's ERA plus. I'm going to say it gets a little better from 109 last year and gets to about 115.
Okay. I had
Webb as pitching over 200 innings and being pretty productive.
I did too. I mean, it was just kind of a typical Logan Webb year. I have him at 205 innings pitched and, earned run average of, 3.3, 3.4, somewhere in there. Ray, you do make a good point. Contract year. He's at the end of his career. He wants to get one more big deal before it's all said and done. He probably wants to sign a 3-year deal.
Two to 3 year deal he's looking for at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is incentive to pitch well. But I think he maybe misses a little time this year just because, he's older and guys get dinged up. So I have him at 160 innings and, pretty good production, but, I think he had a pretty good year last year, especially the first half. I think, we'd be lucky to get that same production.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Go for Landon Roop next.
Roop, I think, he, had a good season last year. I think he keeps it up. So his innings was at 106 last year. I think he can push that to about 130 this year.
Okay.
And I think his earned run average will be right around the same. He was 3.8 last year. I think he'll be about 3.7, 3.8. He won't be in the fours, I don't think, which would be solid for him. I think if we get anything under a 4, we're in pretty good shape with Landon Roop.
Yeah, if you get anything under 4, exactly. I think I got him about the same, 125 innings pitched. I think they push him, he gets in there a little bit more. Concern is that elbow. He had a little bit last year, but wasn't that where he got hit? Where did he get hit at the end of the year?
I think so. Hey, Rocky.
So, yeah, I think Roop has a decent bounce back year. He had a 0.7 WAR last year. Maybe he bumps it up to 1. Okay. Next on the list would be Hauser, Adrian Hauser. So Hauser has had a decent career. I mean, last year he pitched pretty darn good for the White Sox. He had an ERA with the White Sox, just the White Sox last year of 2.1, which was a career high. He's got a career of 4.06 ERA over 9 seasons. If he can get that below 9, he had 11 starts last year with the White Sox, 68 and 2/3 innings, and then he pitched another 56 with Tampa, a total 125 innings pitched. In his overall ERA with both teams was 3.31. If he can stay under 3.8, that's a win.
I have him at 3.8. I think.
Jeez, that's crazy.
I think that that last year was an aberration. Aberration from his norm. So I think a 3.8 would be a good year for him. And he pitched 125 innings last year. If he pitches 130, 135, I think that's a solid year for him. Yeah.
And, he is going to be pitching in a friendlier park. I think the thing about Hauser that you have to realize is, what the Giants are trying to do is shore up the defense. And, Adames is average, maybe a little above average. He's okay. He's not a Gold Glover, but he's not a dog out there either. So
he's not gonna make at first base. At first base, you want somebody who's not going to have forced errors, unforced errors, where he's actually costing you. He's not going to cost you. He's going to make every play. He's not going to do anything spectacular, but he's going to be fine there.
Look, Lou's not fired from the show. Lou's a friend of mine. Okay. He's just not He's not here. He's just doing another show. He was never fired. I talked to Lou today. Okay. crazy. Anyway, let's get to this. Then we'll get Dan in Dallas. Say the front office wants to get Framber. What offer would you give him to choose us over anyone else? Well, I was saying this a little earlier. I would probably go 3 years, something like $100 million, $33 million a year. You got to remember, Cease got 7 years, $210. Dylan Cease got $230 million a year. So I think it's going to take.
Yeah, I would do 30 for 3 or even 33 for 3.
That's what I'm saying. 33 for 3. I think that's about what I wouldn't go any higher than that. And if he wants an opt-out, he can have it after year 2, not after year 1. I'm getting 2 years out of Framber if I'm signing him. Okay. But
Can you tell him that if he intentionally hits the catcher, he's opting out immediately?
Yes. All right. So we did Hauser. Next, why don't you go to Tyler Mahle?
All right. So he had another really good year last year. I mean, he didn't pitch much, right? I have to pull it up now.
Innings pitched for Mahle last year was 86 innings.
Okay, so he was coming off injury.
His best year was
218 earned run average.
Yeah. I like the Mahle signing. I think it's a sneaky pick.
4 earned run average. Last year he had a 218. And then the year before that he had a 5. Oh no, he didn't pitch much.
He only pitched
2023 he had a 3.
3.16. Yeah. 4.41 in 22 or
2022 he pitched 120 innings.
4.4.
And then he hasn't pitched since then, basically.
Keep in mind, he was pitching in a Cracker Box Stadium in Cincinnati with that 4.4. If he can get that under 4 with the Giants, which I do think he can, Mahle's got some pretty good stuff. I really like
86 innings last year at a 2.18 earned run average. Yeah. That's pretty good. So I have him this year at 370. I'm at 218 is just not. That's just not going to happen over the long course of a full season. But I think he pitches 135 innings, and I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry here. He's going to pitch 120 innings.
Yeah, that's about what I had him. 120 innings.
A 3.65 earned run average.
120 innings. I think Mahle ends up winning the Cy Young. I think his ERA is 0.31. I think he is the star of baseball. No. I got
unbelievable.
I got Mahle coming in at about 120, 125 innings. I do think his ERA is going to be closer to 3.5 than closer to 4. How's that?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think be great if that's the case.
I think Mahle
the question is, this is if all these guys work out and stay healthy, if they pitch like they've been pitching recently and they stay healthy, the Giants are going to be fine. But the issue is that you never stay healthy. It doesn't happen. So 2 of these guys will see significant stints on the IL, which is going to happen. It happens pretty much every year.
Yep.
And when that happens, I'm hearing Birdsong is pitching well, and he's figured things out, and he could be better. You got Tidwell, who they're high on. We haven't seen him yet. McDonald.
Yeah.
So there's these guys that they have in coming up that they're going to have their shot this year to fill in, and if those guys can step up.
Don't forget, I think Max Scherzer could sign after spring training's over and just be ready to pitch in a month and a half. Do some, he's going to be working out. He'll probably do his spring training, at AA level, AAA, whatever. He'll maybe even in San Jose, he'll start, working out. Maybe even, in May, he'll be in the Arizona Complex League, pitch an inning or 2, build his arm strength up against young guys, and then move up to San Jose, and then eventually just have his spring
That
training.
would be so smart if they could work out a deal like that where they say, hey, we've got you. We're going to pay you $10 million, but you're going to pitch half a season.
Half a season. I do think that's what is in store with Max Scherzer. I do. I think it's a half season. I think there's no need to push it. And, and we'll see where this ends up going. But I think the part that is the scariest part for the Giants right now, we've given some pretty good numbers to projections for the players, the starters. I think where the Giants may really struggle is the bullpen. The bullpen is I don't even know if I'm going to go over guys. We'll just kind of hit. Here's the bullpen in a nutshell. It's Eric Miller. It's Sam Hentges. There's two guys.
Eric Miller had a great year last year until he got hurt.
Right. You got Miller, Hentges, Ryan Walker. That's three. Let me pull up the bullpen here, guys. The bullpen. One sec here.
Jose
Butto. Okay, you could have you got Brubaker, you got Bivens, you got Foley.
Those two would be like long men if you need one.
Foley will be in the second half. You got San Martin, who's a possibility. He's another. He's another lefty. They got some lefties in there. Okay, you got how many lefties they've got?
Gage, lefties, San Martin, Miller,
and Hentges. 4 of them.
Hentges, yeah.
And I think Hentges becomes the 7th or 8th. I think Hentges could become your 8th inning guy. I really do. If he goes back to the form, he was one of the better relievers in baseball. All right. So I like him. Paguro, I'm not sure. Paguro's a non-roster guy. He's not on the 40. No, he is. I take that back. Sorry.
He is.
He's on the 40. He's on the 40.
I'm really high on him. I think if he has a good spring, he could be the closer.
He could. Here's my dark horse for a closer at some point in the 26th season is Will Bednar. If he could figure it out in the minors, his control, the guy's got closer stuff. I really like his stuff. He's just got to figure a way to get it over the plate. So the bullpen is the biggest issue. I think the starters are going to surprise and keep guys in. The Giants are going to be in games. Look, what they went out and did, they didn't go out and get a bunch of names when they went and got Hauser and Molly, but they're kind of think of DeScalfani and Alex Wood in the 21 season. Remember how effective they were? They kept the Giants in games.
DeScalfani was the second best pitcher on the team.
Molly has some traits where he can have a bounce back year. Look, he's on a solo year contract. You think this guy wants to? I mean, his career right now is in front of him. How old is Molly? Well, I got it right in front of me. Molly is 31 years old. Okay, Tyler Molly is 31 and doesn't turn 32 till almost the last day of the season, September 29th. When is the last day of the season? Well, let's take a look at the schedule. Last day of the regular season is September 27th. So, he doesn't turn 32 unless the Giants make the playoffs.
Hopefully he's not celebrating his birthday in Cabo.
Yeah. They play the Dodgers on the – oh, no. He turns on 29th. That would be possibly the first day of a wild card game on a Tuesday. Probably a Wednesday. But anyway, this is a team after – now, let's do the ceiling and the floor. Yep. Okay. I think the ceiling for this team – and again, guys, this is – if everything goes right, where guys do have these productive years, they do have some bounce back years. The injuries are not too severe to too many key players. They're going to have injuries. They're going to lose guys. But do they have the horses below them that could come in and fill in for a couple of weeks or a month. We'll see. But I think the floor or the ceiling is about 90 wins. Okay, I think the ceiling, 90, 91 wins. That's where I think
so too. That's what I have. I have, if everything goes right health-wise, and they hired Tony Vitello kind of to build some team chemistry, to give the team an identity, to change the attitude, to change the approach. And if the players buy into this, then we could see, the team overachieve what their projections are. And, that clutch gene, hitting, with runners in scoring position, doing the opposite of what they did last year, which was completely fall on their face in those situations. So if there is a tone change within the organization and the team and in that clubhouse, then you might see a 90-win season where they exceed what they are on paper. And if not, if people are injured and if they're not clicking, then it could. Then you can talk about floor. I think you're muted, Dan.
All right. I think the floor on this team is about 72.
72. I have it at about 75. They have enough guys that are proven veterans, Adames and Chapman and Devers, and these guys are the ceiling. The floor for them is about last year. That's about as low as they can go. And
I'm getting you guys used to spring training. That pop. You guys hearing the pop?
Huh? Yeah, I hear it.
You love that pop sound, but I don't have a catcher's glove, so I'm not putting it in my palm.
Can you get out of the bat and start swinging it, and we could hear the sound of whiffs?
You would definitely be hearing whiffs because I can barely stand right now. Just 2 weeks from hip surgery. See, my friend
Spencer
right here.
Spencer Stewart, 76. I think that's a pretty accurate floor.
Here's my friend. My walker. Although
you're a big
walking.
Walker fan. I know that.
Yeah, I am starting to walk without this. I can do baby steps. I'm baby stepping. I'm not a slacker. I'm baby stepping, man. Yeah, I'll be down there when pitchers and catchers report. We have a small little possibility that I might be able to get Tony Vitello on the show. I don't know. I've already reached out. It's trying to use my Italian persuasion, I don't know if it'll work out, but
I think so. That O at the end of your name will get you in the door.
Vitello, Coach Emilio. Yeah, I think so. So that would be good. Who's to say, Aaron says, a 90-win team would be due to Vitello and not just the players happen to overachieve anyway? Did 100 happen because of Gabe and company? Aaron, I think it's a combination of players. A lot of times when you get something new, like you got Gabe, you had Buster that was coming back off of the COVID deal and had all these new coaches. The Giants players, I was down there at spring training. Literally, think of this thing as an iPad right here, or whatever they call those notebooks or whatever they were using. And I'm watching, and I'm as close to, I'm literally standing up, and Belt is leaning against the backstop, and I hear him talk, and I'm talking to Brandon. I'm saying, so how's that working? Asked him a couple questions about it, and he's kind of, yeah, this is interesting. He's just kind of, the players are really relaxed at spring training, especially when they're first starting. The first few days, they're very relaxed. I mean, gosh, I got an interview with Michael Conforto for 25 minutes right on the field after practice was over. He was just super cool. But belt was.
That was before his season with the Giants.
That was his first full season, yeah. But anyway, these guys were really buying into this stuff. They'd never really done this kind of stuff with, as heavy as really looking at pitch selection and all this stuff. So what I'm saying is they bought in, and as they bought in, these guys, and then things started going well, and winning is contagious, same as losing. It's very contagious in sports. So these guys bought in. I think Tony's going to get these guys to buy in. I think Tony's want to get these guys to have a chip on their shoulder. I think you guys, and you got guys like Bader and Chapman. Chapman's not as vocal, but he plays a similar style. He's a hustler. You got, I do think these guys are going to be pretty well get along. They're down there right now. They're all working out. I think Casey Schmidt, he got a report of over him a little over a week ago that he was 95%. He was hitting off of a tee. If he could get that thing really feeling good, I think he'll be ready to go. I think he's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot to prove. Think about this. He's heard nothing but everybody, you're looking for a new second baseman. You're looking for a new second baseman. I think if Casey is given the shot and gets to play, he could surprise some people. I would say that if they do trade for a second baseman, maybe Casey gets a break and gets to go play somewhere else, play third base, his natural position. But that's kind of the numbers that we're throwing out there. Why did I say 72 and not 75 for a floor? I just think that if things derail and there are injuries and things are spinning not so good, it's a long season, things just have a way of happening that way. But, you guys got to look at one thing that's important to look at is looking at standings. Okay. Just take a look at a team like, let me just pull this out here. Let me just pull this out. 1 sec. 2000.
One other thing to mention is, Casey had his hand surgery. Bryce Eldridge had his hand surgery. So those guys were both.
We never discussed Bryce. I forgot that. We didn't give any numbers on Bryce.
Yeah. So
that's just a wild shot. There's no history.
330, 45 home runs, and 145 RBIs.
I have some concerns here after listening to Javi Lopez on Glenn Kuiper's show last night. I listened to it today, a little bit picked up. My concern is that Javi talked about, maybe just let Bryce go down to AAA and let him relax and rip. And I was like, oh no, are they already internally thinking, is this why Encarnacion is still on the 40? Because they're thinking Encarnacion might end up being the DH and that Eldridge could be sent down. That's an option.
Because he didn't have a full stint at AAA. He still is striking out too much. So do you want to have him, do you want to rush him up because he's your hope, and you want to have him at the DH, or do you want him down in AAA playing first base, continuing to get experience at playing defense and, having a better chance at facing big league pitching, close to big league pitching. So I see a really good argument for keeping him in AAA, but there's going to be the pressure to have him up, and they gave him a real number, and they have him at Fan Fest. And so they're kind of, I don't know. It seems like to me he's going to be in the mix, and if he has a good spring, he's on the team.
Yeah, I think if he has a good spring and gets off to a good start, I mean, Bryce could have a year where he's probably going to hit in the 230 range, most likely as a player, but he could hit 25 bombs in his first year. We'll see.
He could hit 30 bombs.
He could. I don't know what to expect.
If he's
of Bryce.
DHing and playing every day.
Yeah. I mean, this kid has the mental makeup. I can tell. He does have the mental makeup to play in the big leagues. He's a lot more mature than his age of 21. This guy carries himself like he's, the big man on campus. When you know you're good, he's got that kind of swagger. So
he's got swagger for sure.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. So the other thing I was going to show you is I was just looking here at the 2009 standings. Right, in 2009, the Giants were young and they were coming up. The 2008 season, they had a losing record, right?
That was a really fun team, though.
The 2008
8 and 9. I love those years.
Yeah. Look at the 9 team, 88 and 74. Timmy won the Cy Young. And was that the second year in a row he won the Cy Young in 2009? I think it was.
Yes. Yep.
Fun season, but 88 wins. That gets you into the playoffs most likely if they do that now. So I think the Giants, look, there are reports all over the place. If you look at Harold Reynolds, Matt Versagian, they're talking the Giants have a good team. People around baseball, they look at the Hauser and Molly signings as, not like, hey, they Cy Young types, but they're solid. They're solid. So I think this team, where do I think? I said the floor was 72 and the ceiling was 90, 91. Where do I think they end up? Probably somewhere right in the low 80s, low to mid 80s, maybe. I had him at 80. I think the Bader pushes him up a little bit, and I got to thinking about it, and I said, well, maybe it's worth 1 or 2 games, Bader. I think these guys are going to come back a little stronger. I do. I think Ramos has a better year. I think Chapman has a better year. I think Chapman has to have a better year.
Well, also, that was my point I was making before we started talking about Eldridge. But Eldridge, he had a hand issue. He had that corrected. Schmidt had a hand issue. He was injured the whole second half of last year. That's now fixed. Chapman was really banged up the last couple of months of the season.
Very, yeah.
And Devers, since the trade, I think maybe he got a little stronger as the season went on, but he was really, his back was hurting him when he first got here. That's 4 players that were pretty dinged up and not at their full potential at the end of last year. So they're all going to come in rejuvenated, refreshed, healed up, and that's not to say they don't get re-injured at some point, but at least we have a clean slate with that. And we can, see what the actual potential is when they're at 100% starting off the year.
All right. What do you guys say? Justin Rosenthal says 81 and 81. Justin, he likes that club driving right down the middle. There it is. Content with 500. There you go. What do you guys say? You got any other predictions? Let's hear some numbers from you guys in the chat, and we'll probably do this one more time. Spencer says 78 and 84. Okay. I think this club has I try to look at it. What do you got? 88. Okay. I think this club has a little bit more in it than I, really, last year I was a little off. I think I said 86. I can't remember if it was 86 or I think it was right around there. And I was 5 games off. I mean,
they were on pace for that for a lot of the year.
Yeah.
They had a terrible stretch there. Yeah. So if you can avoid those stretches and, 88, maybe that's overachieving a little bit, but I kind of expect a lot of guys to bounce back. And, as we look through our predictions there, a lot of guys had an improvement over last year. Now, is 88 enough to get into the playoffs? Probably not. You probably need a few more.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be right there.
It'll be right there. But that's why I think they need to make one more addition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Add another guy that can give you 2 more wins. And this is, anything can happen. It's all on paper. You get a hold of one and you put it in the cove and all of a sudden that's an extra win, so, but it averages out. And so if you can try to get one more piece, an arm, give a little bit more depth in the bullpen or, a little more depth at the starting rotation, something to where they're not so thin. Right now they're pretty thin across the board. The bullpen's thin, the rotation's thin, and your bench players are pretty thin. So if somebody gets hurt, if Adames gets hurt, Christian Koss has to step up. That's a lot to ask Christian Koss.
Yeah. Yep. I'm in a little bit more agreement with C. Davis here. I think that 84, 86 range. It's hard for me to say, 500 is going to be where they're at again. It easily could. I think it's kind of hard to go 500 like 5 years in a row, like 79 to 81 wins. I mean, at some point, guys are going to break through. I think this team has veterans now in Chapman and Adames and Devers. Now, and think about it. Bailey's kind of a veteran now. He's a fourth-year guy in the big leagues as a catcher, and he's well respected as a catcher. Ramos is going to be in his 3rd full season. Jung Hoo Lee will be in his 2nd full season. And you got Bader, who's been playing a while. Yeah, you got veterans now on this team in Bailey, Devers, Adames, Chapman, and Bader. That's 5 guys that are long, I'm adding Bailey in there. This is his 4th year, but 4 of those 5 guys are played for a long time. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good nucleus, a mix of some younger guys. You add in, Ramos. I think Ramos is still considered, to me, I think Ramos is still considered a young player. What is he, 26 or is he 27 this year? Elliot Ramos
26
is, I'll tell you in 1 second here. Right now,
he's still next year is his 1st year of arbitration. So if he has a good year this year, he's going to get paid some money next year.
Yeah, he'll be 26 all the way up until September. So he's still improving. I think Ramos, I think there's a good mix of younger guys and veterans. So the key is, guys, it's going to be health. If this team, this is why I put the floor at 72, because few of these guys get injured. They don't have the depth. They really don't have the depth behind them. It could fall off the rails. It really could. This could fall off the rails if things go rough. But I think the coaching, remember the coaching. Coaching is going to be much, much better this year. I think you're going to have a more engaged manager. I think you got Ron Washington, who's going to help these guys improve their base running, their defense. You got Jace Tingler, who's been a manager, bench coach. You got the hitting instructor and Hunter Mentz. Their pitching coaches, I really like. They pulled the guy over from Milwaukee, AAA. Then they got Frank Anderson from Tennessee. That was a prediction right here on NorCal Sports Network, by the way, that Frank Anderson might be coming. So
really, it's not just changing the manager; it's changing everybody.
Yeah.
The whole entire coaching staff is different.
Yep. So I think that's going to play a huge
role. Catching coach.
Yeah, I think it's going to play a huge role. I think Tony's going to have these guys humming together. I think these guys are going to be hungry. And a lot of these guys, think about it, are really playing for, their big league careers. They want spots. They want everyday jobs. Schmidt's going to get a shot. I think he's going to take advantage of. Think about this, guys. Casey's been getting kind of dogged in the offseason, not because of him so much, but because they want to improve. He's never been a second baseman. But think about what he did at the plate before he got hit. He was at his 800 OPS and was leading the team in hitting like at 275. It was only 34 games, but he was going both. He was driving the ball to right field. He was driving it to left. So I think if Casey's hand, if he stays healthy in that hand, Casey's got some pop.
Yeah,
I mean,
we saw
that shot off Yamamoto was legit. So
big time.
Yeah,
huge grand slam.
Yeah. All right, guys.
One the next day wasn't as impressive, but
he hit another grand slam, but it was off of somebody else. I don't think it was a pitcher though, right? Kike. All right, let's get the band going here.
Good night.
Gosh. Get your final comments in. You always throw the comments in at the end. It says, "Good night, great show," and we've already got off. There we go. Yep. Rocky,
they say,
take care. Dan
as soon as we sign off, they say, "These guys are idiots." They don't know what they're talking about.
You guys want some more glove popping here? Get ready for spring. One of these days I'm going to miss, and it's going to go hit my screen, and you're going to see it break. Hopefully not. This is a big enough glove to. And those pop. Stevie! 2. There we go. Hey Dallas, you going to come down next year? Maybe Los D and I join the Giants fantasy camp.
That would be fun.
I got 2 new hips. I'm getting ready. I couldn't walk the last few years. Now I can get out there and play a little ball.
Maybe. It would be tough for me to get away for that long of a stretch, but maybe.
It would be tough for me. It's right in my backyard.
Yeah.
So we'll see, guys. Hey, we'll be back Thursday night, okay? Thursday night. It's oh, by the way, guys, tomorrow night, Polymac Particles. I got it. I'll be on the show tomorrow night. Polly will be coming over here. Polly McNamara and Tony. Let me find their show here. Polymac. Hold on here, guys. Okay, one sec. I might have to kill this music. Forgot, guys. Tomorrow night, I want you to go subscribe to this show right here. There they are, Polymax Particles. Great show. They're on Polymac right there. There's Polly and Tony. Get over there and subscribe to that channel. Great channel. They're on Monday through Friday. They are on at noon every day but Wednesday. And Wednesday nights, they go on live on Wednesday nights. Okay, I'll be over there tomorrow. Polymac, let me turn the music off there. And catch me over on the show tomorrow night. Starts at 8 p.m. Polymac Particles. Polly and Tony, they do a great show. And guys, I'll be sponsoring them as well with my business. I have a day job too. So, and then we're going to do a lot of stuff together with Polymac and Tony and Longbridge Pizza. You're going to get a chance to meet and greet. We're going to go to some Giants ball games this year with Polymac Particles. That show combined with NorCal Sports Network. We're going to be doing shows together, and we're going to be doing hangouts at Longbridge Pizza. All right. NorCal Sports Network, Polymac, Particles. So catch me on that show tomorrow night and make sure you go subscribe. We're going to bring NorCal Sports Network, a lot of guys over there. We're going to be working together, some collabs, and they're great guys. One of the better shows. I love what they do. It's very entertaining. It's not just sports, but you get some music, you get some movies. So talk, and they're Robert Boyd just subbed over there. All right, guys. Yeah, go sub over there. Again, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. I don't know what time I'll be on, if I'm on for a portion of the show, but they're going to bring me on, introduce me, and then they'll be on next week, either Tuesday or Thursday night. They'll come on here, NorCal Sports Network, and the Sharks win. Sharks win 5-2. Keep rolling, Sharks. There we go. All right, so a lot of events this year. You guys are going to want to come see some Giants games and catch Dallas. Myself, Dallas can come down from Sac. That's an easy hour, 20-minute drive, right?
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours. So you'll catch us and Los D. You know, he's a friend of NorCal Sports Network and Mac Particles. So you guys remember Paulie Mac, right? He was on KMBR for years with Brian Murphy, the morning show.
Take a giant step and go. KMBR 68.
There you go. There's Paulie and Tony right there. They love the Giants. They love the Niners. So we're going to be doing a lot with these guys, and we're going to pick out a game here. We'll be talking about that. I'll be talking with Paulie and Tony tomorrow, and we'll be picking out a game. I don't know what month, if it'll be April or May, but we'll do a few of them a year probably, and there'll be some meet and greets at Longbridge. We'll go catch the Giants game and sit in a group of in a section there where we'll all sit together and root on the Giants. But yeah, so I forgot to mention that early on the show. So catch that. I'll be over there tomorrow night. They will be over here. They would have been here tomorrow or Thursday night, but Tony's got Little League draft this week. So Tony's coaches Little League. And so, you know, great guys. You'll love them. Go over there and subscribe to their show. They got a really tight-knit group of people, and going to be fun. Yeah, Don Peralta's over there. Can't wait, Dan, like opening day, Polymac Particles event, and many more throughout the season. Yeah, we'll be putting them all together. We'll be working together, guys. So appreciate you, and we will catch you guys. If you catch me tomorrow night, PMP show, Polymac Particles, and then Thursday night, Dallas and I will be back here at 8 o'clock. All right, everybody, give it a goodbye.
Here we go.